What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and I have some pretty sad news if you guys are fans of this specific series. So it seems like Mario and Sonic games could be done forever, and I think a lot of us were thinking that as no new Mario and Sonic game got announced for the 2024 Olympics, and everybody was trying to figure out why that was the case and why Nintendo hasn't announced this yet, or Sega, and we was really expecting it like the last 4 directs. We might know why now, because according to Eurogamer, and this comes from Stealth on Twitter, the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series was cancelled in favor of NFTs and esports. They wanted to look at other partners in NFTs and esports. Basically, the IOC, which is the Internal Olympics Committee, wanted to bring it back to themselves internally and look at other partners so they would get more money. And this apparently comes straight from Lee Crocker, who worked on almost every entry in the series. So yeah, this is just strange, and I guess it's never really occurred to me that, yeah, the Internal Olympics Committee is behind a lot of this, considering the fact that it's like all based around the actual Olympics and the years and the places that they're at. So yeah, I guess they do have the max say-so with this game, and that's pretty interesting. So yeah, it doesn't seem to be neither Nintendo or Sega that was the problem. It was the Olympics, organization that pretty much just said, hey, this isn't making us enough money. We'd like to find other avenues for our Olympic games. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So esports I kind of get because it just recently passed vote to actually be in the Olympics now, so video games can be part of the Olympics, I guess starting the next Olympics, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if that's considered summer or winter event, but either way, that's pretty cool. Maybe it's both, I don't know. But yeah, it seems like that's where they're going to put most of their focus on, which I get it. It's where a lot of people are going to be watching, and that's probably where you're going to get a lot of your revenue from. But NFTs in 2024, really? Why? That one just blows my mind, and it just seems like they're very, out of touch with what's happening in this current year. But yeah, very strange. But at the end of the day, I kind of get it to a degree when you look at the sales. The very first Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games really just threw everybody off guard. It was on the Wii back in 2007, and no one really expected to see something like this in their lifetime. Like Mario, Bowser's, Sonic, and Amy racing, like what? But yeah, it was insane, and obviously it sold insane, with 13 million copies sold. Obviously the most selling Mario and Sonic game by a large margin. But then just a couple years later, we would have the Winter Olympic Games, which sold just about 7 million, which was still really, really good for like technically a sequel on the same console. We then have the third game on the Wii, being Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games, and that sold about 3.7 million. As you can tell, it's starting to decline because this is the third Mario and Sonic Olympic Games on that same console. But then the Wii U rolls around, and the Wii U rolls around with the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, and that was only 1.2 million. Of course, being on the Wii U, but even being on the Wii U, I see this still as a success because the Wii U was just bad with its sales. So honestly, this wasn't terrible. Then on the 3DS a couple years later, we had the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, which would be the worst selling game in the series with only 1.175 million copies, which is pretty low. Once again, it is a 3DS game, so I understand it. But then they had one last release on the Nintendo Switch, and that was Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which only sold 1.3 million, which was a little bit more than the 3DS and a little bit more than the Wii U. But for a Switch title, this didn't do that well. And this is probably what the committee was seeing and saying, yeah, these games are no longer making profit for us, really. I mean, only getting about 1 million units sold each installment is not going to be enough. Now, I can't lie myself, I bought the first 2 games and played the heck out of them on the Wii, and that's where I stopped. I never did get the third one on the Wii, I never did get the Wii U or the 3DS title, and I never even got the Switch one. I just personally ran out of fuel for this series, and it just felt like every single time it was the same events, it was the same type of things, and I just wasn't all that invested in it. And it seems like a lot of people probably felt this way as well, and it was just ultimately time for this to be wrapped up. And I'm not gonna lie, even when there were rumors suggesting that another Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was coming very soon the last couple of years, I was kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that this series would not return in a way, because I was ready for them to actually do something new. And I feel like this is more of a possibility than ever. With the IOC, saying no more Olympic Games, That doesn't mean that they can't make any more projects together. You know, Nintendo and Sega are on great terms. They work together all the time with different things and releases, and when new Sonic games come out, Nintendo helps pretty much as they can to reveal the game and show the game off and advertise the game for Sega. So odds are we'll probably see some other project in the future with Mario and Sonic, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Olympic games. It could just be like a sports mix game, something along those lines could work. But what I've been really wanting for a very long time now is a proper adventure game. Like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was cool, but I want to see them go on a proper adventure, like a whole story, a full game. And how would that look? I don't really know. Maybe it's a mixture of 3D platforming with Mario and fast level completion with Sonic. I don't know. I feel like they could do it in some way, and I would love to see something like this. But the question is, will Nintendo ever put time into something that big? I mean, if they have dedicated teams working on 2D Mario, 3D Mario, then who in the world would be working on this game? Would it replace an upcoming 3D Mario? Because I really wouldn't want that to happen. Same with Sega. Like, if they're working on, you know, the next 3D Sonic game, what are they going to do with this? Like, who's working on this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this would ever happen, but still, I would love to see something like that. Maybe some other type of company Nintendo outsources and finds to help them work on this thing, you know, would be pretty cool. But I would love to see some type of adventure game. I know if they do another game, it's going to be something like sports again, or probably something along the lines of like an RPG or something like they did with Mario Rabbids. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting. With their, you know, relationship with Ubisoft and obviously making 2 Mario Rabbids games now, I cannot believe that Nintendo and Sega hasn't worked together for some type of story-driven game. So whether it's an RPG or an adventure game, I would love something else that's maybe not sport-related between the 2 franchises, but we're just going to have to wait and see what they want to do. But if anything, I don't see this as like a major loss or anything like that. If anything, it almost feels like maybe it breaks the shackles of the Olympic Games that they keep getting pushed in, and maybe there's some new stuff we get to expect. Finally breaking free from the Olympic game tradition, or maybe we'll never see Mario and Sonic together again, outside of like Smash Brothers. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Are you happy that this is over? Are you sad that this is over? Were you a big Mario and Sonic fan? Is this going to ruin your day? Definitely let me know, because to me, I could care less. I wasn't huge on the series, but I understand people being really disappointed and let down by this. But I wanted to do something real quick and talk about what Mario and Sonic could do in the future. But if you want to appear in that future video, all you have to do is go down below and comment "wish" in capital letters, followed by your Mario and Sonic game wish. It could be any game that you desire, an RPG, an adventure game. Describe it in detail, and I mean literally give me some great detail so I can picture your game as great as possible, and you could appear in the next video. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.